right, hello everybody. Welcome in. Thank you so much for joining us this evening, taking time out of your busy schedules. I know some of you probably are or have already experienced midterms, so hopefully you did good. If you're still heading into that, good luck. We're sending you all the luck and the good vibes. But other than that, thank you all for showing up. Some of you might know us, some of you this might be your first time seeing us, but we are with the College Fund, obviously. We're college success coaches. My name is Adriana, and then we have Julio here. We'll kind of introduce ourselves a little bit more into the presentation, but this is going to be about time management. So we wanted to make this a little bit more interactive this time. We're still going to have some slides to go off of, but we're going to go over just like a few definitions and just kind of go over the topic of time management. We'll be sharing out some tips and advice as well. And then Julio is going to lead us through a cool little exercise where you can kind of practice a common time management tool that a lot of advisors and counselors will use with their students. So it's called the ABC method. So if you know what that is, awesome. If you don't, then that's even awesomer because this will be the first time for you to do this. So but yeah, this is going to be recorded and this will be available on YouTube if you need a hop out, or for those of you who were not able to join us live. Hi everybody on YouTube. I always like to give shout out to everybody on YouTube. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. I don't want to take any more time out of your busy schedule. This will be about 45 to an hour, but it'll be some really good content. So thank you all for joining, and we will be having an event evaluation at the end as well. So please, if you can, stay till the end and we'll give out that link. And we're going to be giving out some prizes this time too. We're going to have up to 7 winners, and we're going to have some really cool prizes that kind of go along with the time management theme here. So without further ado, Julio, you want to share your screen?
Yes. All right. All right. Let me know if you could see that right in front of you.
All right. I can see it. Is everybody good? Just give a thumbs up or
I can see it.
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you.
Perfect.
And we also want to hear from y'all too. So in the chat, please just shout out where you're coming in from. If you want to represent your nation, go for it. I'm Navajo, so shout out Navajo Nation. But yeah, say what school you're attending, cool little shout out to where you're from or wherever. But definitely get the chat going and you can interact in the chat. But yes, like I mentioned, this is the time management workshop hosted by myself, Adriana, and Julio. And we are college success coaches. If we're your college success coaches, hello, it's good to meet you. But if we're not, we're also really awesome. We're also really humbled and really welcome to have you here, just kind of joining in and taking time to hear from us regarding time management, because this is something that is ongoing. I will say, I think Julio can agree to that. We're still trying to get down ourselves as well. It's something that you never really stop learning, different techniques and strategies that work for you to help yourself stay accountable and stay on track of things that you need to get done throughout the day. Honestly, we all have really busy schedules, and adding school on top of that as well can make it even busier to find time to do things. So Julio, go ahead and go on to the next slide.
Yes. All right. So yeah, just to kind of, go over the agenda of what we're going to be talking about during the session, as of course, the title itself, time management. So we'll talk about that a little bit. And then also, talk about time poverty, which is an interesting term that I actually just learned about this year. So, Adriana's going to talk about it a little bit later on. So it's a pretty interesting thing to kind of think about, and knowing how to like manage your time, but also, knowing like what to do and like utilizing different tools and methods to get you through the, specific things in school, for work, and any other personal matters, going on in your life. And again, us the college coaches, we're gonna kind of do a little bit of storytelling, talking about our experiences with time management, in school, work, and anything else that we've done, so you get to hear our perspective as well. And then I'll go over the ABC method. If some of you have heard about it, cool. And if not, still a little useful method that I still use now with my other methods that I have, just because I'm a little bit scatterbrained sometimes too. just to be honest, but also at the same time, I'm learning different things, throughout my whole life. And then we'll do a little exercise activity to kind of go over that method, to kind of get some collaboration, and then, be able to have everyone kind of like, you know, go through the exercise together. And then we'll have Adriana go through those methods, tools, and how to focus, and then I'll end it with knowing a little bit about procrastination. And then lastly, the event evaluation at the end. So please bear with us, but at any point, during the session, if you have any questions, definitely put it on the chat. And if not, you can always unmute yourself if there are any questions during the session as well. So we'll go ahead into the first one. So time management, of course, the name of the session, just kind of going over like the specific definition is just kind of going over like, organizing your time efficiently, but also utilizing those specific things to go over the benefits of having good time management, which includes, productivity, and then having less stress, but the more opportunities to do things that actually matter, so knowing what to do and what to expect, and on how to adapt to the situation, and learning different things to kind of go through it. For me, for instance, I have a lot of time management things that I've been going through during school and everything before. And one of those things, I just kind of talk to my advisor or one of my mentors, and kind of learn those skills from them directly, because they've gone through the same things through school from everyone else. So I kind of learn from their mistakes, and I learn from them. So I'm always giving out tools to everybody, especially the students I work with directly, just in case they need those specific tools to kind of get through school, work, or life in general. But I do have a question, that's there at the bottom, is like, how have you managed your time? You could give any example, you could put it on the chat or unmute yourself. Let us know about some things, and I'll talk a little bit about mine as well too. So for me, I'll give one, my phone or a notebook pad. I'm always willing to like utilize the specific thing, so like just a notepad type of thing. Just kind of put a list of different things, to kind of get myself throughout the week. It's like, what projects do I need to get done? Like, what school assignments do I need to get finished this week? What specific projects or future projects am I going to be able to do in the future to come, to kind of get ahead of myself? And having those time management skills kind of helps you and not being able to procrastinate, so of course, it's just kind of a good thing to kind of have. But yeah, no, if anyone wants to share, or if Arjana, you want to jump in, if not, let me know about some ways you've managed your time. Okay.
I know for me, I definitely utilize my calendar a lot, which is assigned to us, working with the college fund. We have our Outlook calendar, and that's basically how we really find time when we can set up meetings with each other, or when we have free time where we can work on our own individual projects, or when we can reach out to our scholars. But I think my calendar is probably the most prevalent thing that helps me manage my time and just keeps me on track of my daily duties.
All right, thank you for sharing that. And there was a comment on the chat is from Telo Castillo, setting alarms or reminders and keep my planner updated. Yeah, those are definitely good ones, especially if for me, well, actually for my wife, actually, she puts a lot of alarms, throughout the whole day from her phone or the Alexa app and stuff like that. So I completely get that one. So thank you for sharing. When studying, I use the Pomodoro method. Okay, yeah. Arjana was gonna talk about that later on. So yeah, that's definitely a cool one right there. Here's another one. We have 3 of us in the house, and we use the time tree app on our phones to keep all appointments and other important events. Ooh, nice. Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that. Appreciate you guys that were willing to share. Okay. All right, we'll go on to the next slide now. Go ahead.
All right. So along with time management, it feels like there's a lot of a lot of the time it feels like there's not enough time in the day, it feels like you have so many things to do, so many places to go, whether you're commuting to campus for classes or you have a full-time job or it's just a job in general, or maybe you have kids and you have to worry about getting them to school, picking them up from school, maybe they have extracurricular activities they're a part of, or there's just so many things to do throughout the day, and sometimes it seems like you're running out of time, and it can really. Oop, we got an Amber Alert on my phone just now. That scares the crap out of me every single time. But a lot of the time it feels like you kind of get a little low self-esteem, or you kind of feel discouraged and that you're not getting enough stuff done, or you're not being productive enough, really. And really all it comes down to is this term called time poverty. So like Julio said, this is a term that really the college success coaches have become acquainted to, since we've started to really, I guess, build the coaches program. The whole concept of time poverty, and really it's the chronic feeling of having too many things to do and not enough time in which to do them. So I know I'm always like, oh my god, I wish I had an extra like 3 hours throughout the day that I could finish this. Or sometimes I'm like, okay, I'll wake up and at 5 a.m. or I'll wake up another hour earlier so that I can wake up and go get an oil change and then come back and then work and then do a lot of different things. You plan it throughout your head. But a lot of the time it can burn yourself out because you just feel like you're not getting enough stuff done, or you're not managing your time better, or you're just not taking advantage of any type of free time that you might get, whether it goes down to the hour or even down to the minute. And ultimately this can cause lower well-being, lower physical health, and lower productivity, because you're worrying about so many things that you need to get done that sometimes it can be overwhelming, and that you can just become so unmotivated or so unfocused that you really don't get anything done that you need to do. Then it causes you to get stressed or to get overwhelmed. But all of this, regarding all of this, it is not your fault. Time poverty is something, unfortunately, that a lot of people of color, students of color, are witness to, or really just kind of experience throughout different times of their lives, especially while you're in college. And it can create barriers for people who want to explore other interests outside of their obligatory responsibilities, which may be your academic interests, or you might have school, but maybe you want to find a job, or you want to explore this other opportunity, but you have to be in class for a majority of the week, or maybe you want to take your kids to go bowling, or do something fun, but it seems like there's just not enough time in the day. But we just really want to reassure you that it is not your fault. Ultimately, that does not make you a bad student. It doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't make you a bad parent. It doesn't make you, it is not your fault. That's the big thing that we want to say here. It really just comes down to the situations and the things that we are dealt with already that makes us seem like we're so stuck in the stage of capitalism that we need to be productive all the time. But really, you need to take time for yourself, because you really can't get things done or be productive without taking care of your mental health or your personal health first. So that was just kind of a little spiel that we wanted to talk about, and we could get so much into time poverty. And if you guys are really interested in this conversation, definitely let us know in the survey. This is the first time that we're ever really introducing this or talking about this with our scholars. But if this is something that you want to do like a focus group on, or have more discussion on, or kind of reflect back on, definitely let us know. You can put it in the feedback in the survey, and then we can maybe schedule out another time where we can talk more about time poverty. All right, go ahead and go to the next one. So now we're going to go into our personal experiences, just talking about time management through our perspectives, and how we have found different things that work for us, or how some things have not worked for us. But you'll just be hearing a little bit more from the coach's perspective. So go ahead, Julio. So I'll go ahead and go first. So for me, I love to have lots of backups as far as keeping track of things that I need to do. And this is something that I learned and I was diagnosed with, but there's a lot of trial and error. Sometimes I would result to using my actual planner here, but I would only carry out with it like within the first 2 months of the semester. But I would kind of lose track of it sometimes, And it seems like you're, being really cool and productive and you have all the pens and the highlighters and everything. And I love check boxes as well. So whenever I go through, every single one of my assignments and I check them off, it makes me feel good and makes me productive. But I didn't carry on with that just because it became like it was overwhelming in a sense to keep up with my calendar or with my planner. So then I resulted to an online calendar where I liked it because it would give me actual reminders on my phone, especially when I had the apps. I use Google Calendar, and it would tell me, hey, you have class in 10 minutes, or you need to go meet with your advisor in 30 minutes, or you need to go to study hall here, you need to go to your office hours here. And it really just helped kind of kick myself in gear to make sure that I'm going to where I need to be. So that's what I learned, that online calendars, reminder apps, and everything really worked for me. But sometimes it didn't always work to my hand. Like I said, I love to work under pressure, and that's something that I still struggle with to this day. And that's procrastination, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And sometimes I like having that pressure of getting things done, but sometimes that's not so good because you don't get to pay attention to detail as much as you can because you have such a small time crunch to get everything done. But sometimes it still works for me, and that's something I'm still working with, but that's not always the best part because it can make you get more stressed and make it seem like everything's kind of coming at you all at once, and then you don't not have enough flexibility for other things that might come at you at the same time, like another assignment that you need to get done like that same night or whatever. And I also felt like I needed to be productive all the time. So, like I was talking with the time poverty, it felt like every single chunk of free time that I had to do something, whether it was going to see my advisor or going to go study or going to office hours or even going to like the gym or doing something, productive. The gym was good though. That was something healthy that I like to do. But it just felt like I needed to do a lot of being productive every single time. And it didn't leave me a lot of room to, I guess, explore or to kind of just rest. So as I got into my undergraduate studies, my junior and senior year, that's when I learned to really prioritize my own well-being and taking time off and learning how to say no. I know this is something that a lot of us are still struggling with or want to work at too, but it seems like nobody else is going to get it done unless I do it or unless I say so, so that's something that I've been working with and everything, and a lot of the time I like to do it because I like to do it my way, so but yeah, it's okay to ask for help, after all this, after feeling like there was just so much that things that I was agreeing to do, asking or doing a lot of commitments, and just really not having enough time to breathe or just to sit down to have an actual meal. That's when I had to step up to myself and say, hey, you're taking too much on your plate right now. You need to take some stuff off. So whether that led to me exiting some leadership roles at some clubs or taking less hours at my job or even dropping a class on my schedule, that's the step that I needed to take to prioritize my well-being and to make sure that I had enough time to finish everything that I wanted to do. This is also where I learned the importance of a syllabus. So, when you go to your class for the first time, you usually have the syllabus review where you look over the class syllabus, and the professor or instructor goes through every single thing that you're going to be going through throughout this rest of the semester. And that's where you can find really big dates that you can put in your calendar or in your reminder or in your planner. You can, whether it's a big essay or a big test that you need to study for, or a certain project that you need to think about ideas for. So those are really good things that I can say to really value the syllabus. And then taking time at the beginning of the week to plan out your week, or I don't know how each of your schedules are, but usually for me Sundays are a good time to sit down and just kind of plan out or see what I need to do, what kind of meetings I have, what projects I need to do when I have class, and just so many different things like that. So these are just a few of my personal experiences that I went through, and Julio's going to talk about his next.
All right, thank you for that. So yeah, no, hopefully you kind of learn like a couple things, from Adriana, and utilizing some of those methods. But like from my experience is a little bit kind of like the same, and then some things are a little bit different as well. But the first one is just planning out that week. Back when I was in undergrad and also even grad school too, but not so much, I would just kind of plan out my whole week, on that Sunday. My method was just using just a plain piece of paper. I was never the planner person at that point until later on in life, maybe 2 or 3 years later in undergrad. I just used just a white blank piece of paper, and I would just be like, all right, here's the stuff I need to do on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and etc. Put my assignments, exams, times when to do discussion posts, and all these other different things that I needed to do during the week. Especially all the extracurricular activities, with all the organizations that would help run, or organizations that I was part of, or even the times when there was free food and I was there the whole time. I was like, I need my free food. I was a poor college student, so I utilize all those things. So I would put those things as very important because food matters and you need food for yourself, to get all that brain power and stuff to kind of function throughout the day. And then another thing, just keeping track of all the specific work times, school, and then personal matters on one or multiple devices or the calendar. For me, for instance, I would use a whiteboard, and I would just kind of mark things on there. And when I finish like a specific task or project or assignment, I would just kind of check it off or just kind of like erase it. And things like that, which just kind of gave me like a sense of satisfaction or accomplishment that I finished it during that week. So, utilize that if you like, if it does help you. And if not, you could do it at the digital method. If you have a phone, computer, Outlook is another thing as well, or planner, write things down or like, type them on there. And those things will kind of give you reminders just in case. I really think my wife would kind of keep me accountable of everything that I do. She would usually tell me, it's like, hey, I sent you a calendar invite for this event coming up. It's like, remember that. And then my phone will just kind of, will literally just let me know, or just from the Outlook calendar perspective. I would just put everything on there from work and then also personal things that I do, with my wife and everything, for date nights or hang out with family, and then just like another important things that happen in my life. Another useful thing to kind of know about is learning to adjust your schedule if you're feeling overwhelmed or just need more time for a project, for work or school. For me, I have to listen to myself. I have to listen to my body. I do have like some health issues that I kind of go through sometimes, and if I'm not feeling so well, I have to take some time off for myself if I can, if I'm not feeling up to it, and if I'm able to, take those breaks. Breaks are important in school and work itself. Kind of like one of the methods that we talked about later on. For me, I feel like I just kind of use a lot of adrenaline, especially, when procrastinating, which is bad, but also kind of good at the same time. But for me, I would kind of like do some things out of habit. I've been traveling a lot for work and then, dealing with school and work at the same time. It's just, adjusting yourself and adapting to the new schedule coming up. For this instance, it's just like giving, you have to take a break when you can, even if it's like, 5 minutes after working, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour, go outside and take a walk, go walk the dogs, get a drink of water, splash some water on your face, just get yourself back out there. And again, of course, emergency type of things, it's like just, get some coffee, get an energy drink, but I definitely tell people not to do that unless it's just like a last minute thing if you can't keep yourself up. Or even running if you're into that. Back in the day, I would just run outside just for a little bit and just like kind of wake myself up, or just kind of throw some like cold water on me just in case. So and then another thing is self-care. Listen to yourself, listen to your body. Know when something is too much or a day is there's too much to handle. Take that time off, go play some games, go sing a song, draw something, anything that you could do. For me, I just kind of like hang out with my dogs. Have one big dog and two little dogs that kind of hang out with. Usually they kind of work with me sometimes here in my home office. So, just being able to be with them or just kind of like venting to my wife, of course, when something is just not making sense or it's just making me feeling overwhelmed. And and just advocating for yourself and getting those good support systems in your life to kind of help you out through your daily life. So just wanted to share that out there real quick. But definitely another good thing, sticky notes. Sticky notes is it's a big thing for me. I have a bunch of them over the place. For instance, like the little tiny ones, the big giant ones, and all over the place. I have it everywhere, but it gives me that, just gives me a reminder, or helps me, is like gives me a visual to like remind me about something. So yeah, just wanted to share those real quick. So thank you. All right, so we'll go ahead into the next thing now. So this one hopefully it doesn't take too long, but hopefully you kind of learn something from it. So this is the ABC method. So literally just ABC, really easy. But it helps you to kind of prioritize your time and what's like, what's more important, or has more urgency. And then kind of like, a ranking system of like, what should I do first and what could I do last, and kind of like push it to the end. But for the A group, it's just things that must be completed by today. It could be anything, from the assignment or project that your professor has given you, like from a couple of days ago, or a last minute project. Hopefully your professor is not like that, but you probably had your syllabus and assignment dates already. Put those up at the top, prioritize those ones first. For the B group, those will just be, it'll be nice to like finish them today, but they could get pushed a little bit further on during the day, or the next day. So just kind of keep that in mind. And then for the C group, this could be pushed to tomorrow or another day, just to kind of help you like not be able to deal with those at this point. And just to kind of give an example for this one right here, just for the things that I do, I'm going to give an example of school. So I'm a college student right now in one of my programs. For this one, so for today, it would be editing a paper that's due tomorrow. So that's like the most important thing right now, just because it's due tomorrow, but also it's a lot of my points. So it's still, I think, 200 points out of the 1,000 points out of the class. So it's definitely important because it could lower my grade. So that's at the really top. For my B group, it would be my discussion post. That one right there is just being able to finish that tomorrow, midday or at nighttime, just before the deadline. So that'll be next. And then that's just like my discussion replies after that as well. And then for my C group, this one just kind of help me prepare for a paper that's due next week, and then another paper that's due in 2 weeks. Putting that out there, just kind of started out when I get the chance, but being able to, start early, or to, taking advantage of those days that I can after work to kind of like, do a small part of it each time, so this paper is 5 pages long. Do my skeleton, do my brainstorming and gather all my ideas. And then, in the next couple of days, do one part of the paper, the next day, the body of it. And then the third one could be just like the editing and all the references and stuff, and double checking everything. So that's like one example of like of how I would utilize this method right here. So definitely take it however you can, and however you would use it for school, work, or anything else in life. So for the next thing now is just kind of learning from that right there. So just to kind of like go over again for the steps, the A group or task is that any work that has to be completed with the almost urgency, such as projects with deadlines. The B items is work that isn't necessarily associated with the deadline, but needs to be completed when possible. This can include tasks like archiving completed projects. And finally, the C item is the least important task in your schedule. So C can be at the least importance and should be completed when time is available, when you get the chance. So for this one, we're all going to kind of do this together as a group. So if you like, the link is right there if you're able to, but I could drop it in the chat. So give me a second to do that real quick.
I got it in the chat, Julio.
Got it? All right. Thank you very much. And if not, then you could always scan that QR code. So I'm going to give everybody a couple of minutes just to kind of get on there and situate it, and then I'll kind of tell you the directions and rules of this little fun activity. So probably like 20-30 seconds or so. All right. We're going to go ahead and go to that right now. and I'll share my screen with that right there in a bit. So we'll stop sharing this screen and we'll go on to the next one. Okay, all right, there we go. So yeah, thank you all for doing the exercise activity. So we'll go on to the next slide. All right.
Alrighty, yes, thank you for participating in that. I thought that was a really cool activity to have everybody do and just kind of put your mind into like the planning mode right now. Okay, let me think of what I need to get done. What do I need to do today? What wouldn't hurt to get done today? What can I push till tomorrow? Or what do I need to look out for that's due maybe like for finals or something? So the whole thing with that was just to kind of help you practice a method that maybe you can use now, in your time management strategies and your toolkit, or maybe you can find another one that works for you. But we just want to go over a few tools and methods that will help increase your focus, because there's a lot of things that you have to do, and sometimes again you can get overwhelmed with the amount of things that you need to do. So it's good to prioritize and to really help yourself focus on the big things that you need to get done, like the A category in that ABC method. So like we were mentioning, there's a lot of tools, there's a lot of apps, a lot of things you can use out there, but excuse me, the biggest thing for you to do is to find the one that works for you. So we heard a lot of online calendars, using a reminder app. There's you can use a planner, sticky notes. I definitely use a lot of sticky notes as well. I have them all over my screens and everything, just to help me see something visually, saying, oh yeah, I can't forget to do that, because sometimes your ADHD brain does not help, and I have ADHD, so sometimes that doesn't help. That helps me a lot. But you can also use these really cool apps that are out there. I know somebody was mentioning the tree app. There's some apps out there that help you stay off your phone. You can download it onto your phone, and the longer that you stay off your phone, the more trees or plants that you can grow, and you can ultimately kind of build a little garden, and that's really cool. You can also download it onto your desktop as well, so that's a little fun activity you can do to kind of help yourself motivate and to help yourself focus as well and stay off your phone, because we can scroll all night on TikTok. At least I can scroll all night on TikTok, and sometimes that's not the best, and that ultimately causes you to procrastinate. So let's try not to do that. But if you do, and that's your way to help calm yourself down or to kind of debrief, then that's totally fine. I use TikTok a lot for my news, honestly. Color coding. I know somebody mentioned color coding is definitely something really big and a really awesome tool to use. You can get different colored pens, you can use highlighters, you can get little stickers that sometimes planners will come with, or you can find your own little stickers, washi tape, so many different things you can use. And this really helps you organize your thinking, put things into place where they need to. So somebody said, you need to go to your doctor's appointment. So that's like a personal health issue. You can place that in your personal, things that you need to get done. You have a big paper that's due on November 3rd, put that in your big final projects that you need to focus on, and maybe start planning out how you're going to start working on that. And it also helps make important items and deadlines stand out. So highlighting, big things that are big deadlines you need to focus on, or maybe using the color red on something that you need to go back on, or using the color purple or something to write out, club meetings if you're a part of any clubs or organizations on campus or anything. Color coding really does help, and I really encourage you to use that. It definitely helps me organize my thinking of what I need to do. Even on my calendar, the default is like blue, and sometimes if everything's just labeled in blue, it will just pass my mind. But if I see something that's different, I'm like, oh, okay, that's our big department meeting we need to go to, I can't miss that. So just using different things. And then also getting creative to avoid distractions. Like I mentioned, there's that app out there, there's several different apps out there that'll help you stay off your phone, or to help yourself prioritize focusing. You can create, you can plant trees, you can create a little garden, you can feed little animals or things that that sounds weird, but like they have these apps where you can like kind of grow an animal or something the longer that you stay off your phone. You can set your phone on do not disturb. I know this is kind of hard sometimes, especially if you're a parent or you need to be accessible on your phone. So if you don't have anything immediate that you need to put your attention to, definitely putting your phone on do not disturb can help, just to kind of alleviate that distraction away. And then, like I mentioned, the Flora app and Forest apps, those are some really cool ones. And then the Pomodoro method. I know somebody was mentioning the Pomodoro method. The Pomodoro method is, for those of you who haven't heard of it, it is a method that helps you, again, just kind of regain your focus and focus on a certain item of task, and then kind of do like the little bursts of working and then taking a break. So I know the most popular one is doing 25 minutes of work, just straight work, setting yourself a timer. And then once that 25 minutes is done, you take a 5-minute break. You can go, go for a walk, go to the bathroom, get a snack, scroll your phone if you want to. Sometimes that doesn't always happen though, but it just kind of helps you do little spurts of time rather than doing long extended amounts of times, and helps you take breaks in between too. Like we're saying, it's really important to take those breaks. And then another one is changing location. Sometimes if you're sitting at your desk or you're sitting at a table in the library or something, your surroundings can get a little stale. So sometimes it's really good to get up and go for a walk. If you have the accessibility to, you can go outside, sit outside, read a book, read your book or textbook or take notes. Go to the library, go to your kitchen table, if you have that means to. I know sometimes it's hard, there's a lot of distractions out there, or maybe again you have kids or people in your family that are kind of just going in and out and like changing locations and everything. So the biggest thing I could say is just like getting your body moving. You can go for a walk, you can I don't know, go to the gym, or just take some deep breaths in, take some deep breaths out. You can stretch, just doing something to get that blood flow going, just because you're sitting too long and you're just kind of in the same surroundings, it can get really stale and it can get really boring, and you can just sit there and be like, dang, I want to do something else. So just doing something, getting up, changing your location, a new scenery can really refresh your mind.
All right, thank you for that. Yeah, I utilize some of those specific things too, and change the scenery is a very useful thing to do, of course. And now, just to kind of like bring us to the end of the presentation is going over procrastination. I know it's kind of popped up a couple of times during the presentation, but we want to make sure you don't get to this point. But at times, sometimes it's going to be like this. So this, just being able to ask for help, when things are not going your way, but like procrastination, it leads to some things, like anxiety or stress and causing like bad outcomes. Maybe it could be like you're studying for an exam, at last minute the night before an exam date, and it's early in the morning, and then you're just staying awake the whole time. Of course, it was good to do that, but one of my professors told me is like it's better for you to get a good night's sleep than trying to cram everything last minute for hours, and then just having a quick hour, 2 hour nap. No, not good. Unless you're really good at it, then awesome. But everyone is different, so kind of keep that in mind. Also, you want to be able to avoid this, avoid the common enemy of like procrastination, getting those good time management skills, being aware of what's going on for work or school. And at times, just to kind of give an example is if you don't understand like a specific assignment or reading, you want to be able to like, talk to your professor, instructor, or the TA, the teaching assistant, to know what to expect of the course, and not to like fall behind and not going until the really end and procrastinating at the last minute. Another thing to kind of help out with procrastination is, have an accountability partner. This could be anyone from a family member, a friend, another student that's in the same class, study group, or just anyone that you could trust to talk about directly about, your schoolwork, work deadlines, to kind of remind you of what's important and coming up. My accountability partner is actually my wife, so she kind of reminds me of all these things. She's the one that's sending me Outlook invites all the time. It's like, hey, remember this, remember that, or just like she has better memory than me. So she kind of gives me those specific things to kind of help me out as well. And then, just reminder tools. We kind of talked about a couple of them, but just to kind of give you some, alarms on your phone. And this could be any, you could use that Flora app or the Forest app, to kind of keep yourself away from the phone. But if you need your phone, just for emergency and stuff, keep that on you. But maybe, to kind of give you those quick, bursts of like studying or reading something, do something for like 30 minutes to 45 minutes, depending on what you feel comfortable with. Alarm pops out, it's like, all right, time to take a break. So just kind of keep yourself accountable on yourself, to be able to do some work, but also giving you those continuous breaks every hour. So because you shouldn't be doing a lot of work at a time unless you're that committed and dedicated to it. But for me, just wanted to share that it's okay to take a break, even if it's 5-10 minutes or whatever it takes. And then, just another example too. I know for a lot of reasons, like for me, I need like reminders all the time using things like Alexa or Google or like Siri. Yeah, okay, my phone didn't say anything to me. Never mind. There she is. Utilizing those things to kind of give you a reminder. And I'm always saying it's like, hey, you Siri, Alexa, whatever, all the different names of technology nowadays, they will give me like reminders. And sometimes me and my wife utilize it all the time. I feel like we're fighting with them all the time, but it's a very good thing to kind of have, just for anything in general, for work, school, and then personal matters altogether. And then, yeah, Google Calendar, phone calendars are so useful as well. And then I kind of found this little snippet of 13 tips for overcoming procrastination. Hopefully you guys could see that right there, but just going through specific things, prioritizing, that's important, with task responsibilities. And then, dividing specific tasks into smaller parts, kind of like when I was talking about the research paper, doing your brainstorming, have the whole skeleton ready one day. The second day, do your intro and body, and then the paper, and then the third day could be like your citations, editing, and then any last minute adjustments to the paper itself. Also, celebrating those small wins during your weekday. Telling yourselves like, hey, I did this paper, I'm doing it. Reward yourself with it. Take a nap, go play a video game, go for a walk, or do anything fun that you think of that'll be beneficial to you. And feeling that sense of accomplishment is awesome as well. And then other than that, there's all these other ones too, but just another important thing is that self-care option in there. Know when to like stop yourself and take that break, holding yourself accountable, rewarding yourself. And they're just like, just being able to, check off all the things you need to do throughout the day to make yourself less stress and not procrastinate at the end, and making your life a little bit easier at the end of the day and week. And of course, on the weekends, definitely use that break to kind of like chill out and not think about school if you're able to. And if not, do like little assignments or catch yourself up, for the upcoming week itself. But yeah, no, that is all we got, guys. So thank you also. This
Thank
is
you.
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for attending. Like we mentioned, there is going to be an evaluation survey for you to complete, and you are entered once you submit these event evaluation surveys to win one of 7 prizes. So we have 5 2-year planners. It's from 2024 to 2025. We might give you the option to pick a color if you want, but we'll see how that kind of works out. But you'll have 5, or we have 5 of those to give out, and then we also have 2 grand prizes for Rocket Books. And Rocket Books are kind of cool. They're, I don't know, Julio, you can probably elaborate a little bit better, but they're basically reusable planners.
Yeah, so the Rocket Book, I have my wife is the one that told me about it, and she's got one and I got one. And then I would utilize some of these prizes to give out to students at the college fund. So it's a notebook, it's got a couple papers in there, but you're able to like write on it with that specific marker it has. And then whatever you write on it, it'll kind of like scan it in a way. I don't know how it does it, but it goes straight to your phone or your computer or wherever you want to send it to, and it literally scans it like how it was on the paper. And then and you can reuse these pieces of paper in there, wipe it off, and then start another specific thing on there. So it's pretty cool, useful, and it's like very technological advanced to me, so it's awesome to kind of have. So very awesome thing to use. So, and it's not that expensive either. Sometimes they get a little bit better and more advanced, but check it out if you can. And if you guys win the prize, it'll be great for you guys to utilize for notes or any fun little thing or journaling. So
Yeah, so in total, we have 7 prizes to give out, so definitely fill out that survey. This is also gonna be available on YouTube, so we're gonna give those of you who aren't able to be here in attendance for any reason, a chance to also enter to win any of these. So we will let you know, definitely make sure you're double checking that all of your spelling is correct on your contact information, mainly your email, because if you win, then that's how we're gonna get in touch with you to get a good mailing address to send that to. So please make sure you're double checking your information. But yes, thank you all so much for attending. We really appreciate you. And hopefully you got a lot of really great tips out of this and kind of refreshed your mind and think of some other ideas to help yourself keep yourself focused or motivated, or as far as time management and everything. And yeah, we'll be here to answer some questions if you need, but other than that, we are good here. Thank you all for attending, and please take care of yourselves. It's getting cold, so make sure you're bundling up, checking on your elders, checking on your community members. Good luck with your finals, midterms, and we will be in contact with you all shortly. Thank you.
Thank you all for being here.